Hey everyone, Bill here. I want to talk about my absolute favorite genre of video game, and that would be massively multiplayer online role playing games. Right now, there are no massively multiplayer online role playing games on Google Stadia. Before you put a comment below, hear me out. Yes, I understand that Destiny 2 is technically an MMO. It is technically massively multiplayer. It is online. There are stats. It is a role-playing game, but I don't put it in the same category with the other MMO games that I'm going to talk about today because it's not really an open world. Now, some might argue that it is an open world, but to me, it doesn't feel like an open world because everything kind of feels siloed off from each other. And I don't know that that's really fair because, yeah, you're going from planet to planet, but it just doesn't. I feel like I spend a lot more time just choosing a location and teleporting there than I do moving from place to place in Destiny 2. That being said, that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today, we're here to talk about Elder Scrolls Online. When Elder Scrolls Online was announced for Google Stadia, I was incredibly excited because, I love that game. It's fantastic. I bought it 4 damn times. I bought it twice for PC, once for me, once for my son, and I bought it twice on PS4 for the same reasons. It's a fantastic game. I've had so many hours of enjoyment playing it. And by the way, if you are interested in watching me stream Elder Scrolls Online, when it comes to Google Stadia, I will be streaming it right here on the channel. So make sure that you like the video, of course, and then click subscribe and click the bell so you get notified when I do start doing those streams, because I'm a huge fan of this game and I am without a doubt going to buy it yet again. And I'm very excited to revisit that world. Just so everybody is clear, the video that you've been watching while I've been talking here was all recorded from my PC. So this is not the Stadia version of the game that you are seeing. This is the PC version of the game. I don't have access to the Stadia version of the game. We don't know when that's coming out. That being said, I want to talk about Elder Scrolls Online, and one of the reasons why I'm so excited to play it again on Stadia, because somebody might say, well, Bill, you already bought it a couple times. Why are you going to buy it again on Stadia? And I'm going to tell you why. Because that frees up a lot of hard drive space. Let's talk about hard drive space. For Elder Scrolls Online, it basically has about 160 gigabyte footprint on your hard drive. That is huge. That is absolutely massive. And that's the thing about MMOs, is that MMOs take up tons of room on your hard drive, which makes Stadia the perfect place to play them. Not only do they have these huge footprints that now we won't have to worry about anymore, but they're also games that require you to be online anyway. So it makes perfect sense that you would want to play MMOs in a streaming fashion. It's the best way to play them. First off, the hardware is not running at your house. Secondly, you can play it on any screen, and there's nothing to download. And speaking of downloads, I want to talk about what's happening with everybody else in Elder Scrolls Online. Sure, they can play it now, but we'll be able to play it soon enough on Stadia. But those people who already have the game and already have it installed, like myself, they're going to have to do it all over again. I'm looking at elderscrollsonline.com, and there's a blog post on there from ESO's creative director, Rich Lambert, and they're talking about some improvements that they're planning on making to the game and what players are going to have to do in order to get these improvements. And one thing that they're going to have to do is re-download that 160 gigabyte game. It's very, very painful to have to do that, but here's what it says. This came out in December 2019, and you don't have to do it yet, but you're going to have to do it soon. It says, this month, we continued to roll out incremental patches to help address stability and issues with the Activity Finder. Work for Update 25 continues, with most fixes on track, including the patching overhaul that shall require all ESO players to re-download the game client as a gentle reminder. So this is update 25. Update 25 is this huge overhaul to the game system, which is supposed to improve animations, improve frame rates in the game. It's all good stuff, but it comes with this huge negative, especially for people who don't have blazing fast internet. And I know if you don't have blazing fast internet, then Stadia probably isn't for you. But when you go to play a game and you can't play said game because you have to patch it, that's incredibly, incredibly frustrating. And it's happened to me many, many times. So in Q1 2020, which is what we're in now, update 25 is supposed to come out. We don't know exactly when. Elder Scrolls Online will obviously let everybody know when that happens. But it says here, work is complete and in final internal testing / bug fixing and on track to release with update 25. Reminder, every ESO player on every platform will have to re-download the game client when this change happens, probably with the launch of update 25. Now, of course, we can't currently play Elder Scrolls Online because it's not on Stadia yet, but when it does come to Stadia, I'm sure that this is not going to be the last time that players will have to re-download the game. We're never going to have to download the game. We're never going to have to install the game. We never have to worry about how big the game files are. We never have to delete other games off of our PlayStations or our Xboxes in order to make enough room to install Elder Scrolls Online, which I have had to do that in the past. We're never going to have to do that because we'll just load up our Stadia controller or our PC, we'll go to stadia.com, we'll turn on the game, and we'll start playing instantaneously, and we're never going to have to download it. And that's one of those things that I think a lot of people forget about. I cannot tell you how many times I have sat down to play a game on my PS4 and that game has patched, and for some reason the PS4 just doesn't automatically keep all of my games up to date, which would be amazing if it did. But I sit down to play a game, and instead of being able to play, I have to sit there and watch it patch instead. And if you're somebody who has tons of time to play video games, maybe that's not really a big deal for you. But for me, for somebody who is a husband and a father and a teacher and a podcaster, and I have way too many irons in the fire, like I've got way too many projects that I'm working on. For somebody that has all of these projects, my time to sit down and play a game is precious and few and far between. And because of that, when I sit down to play a game and I can't play it because it's patching, that is very, very frustrating. And most of the time, that just leads me to play some other game. And it's something that I never, ever have to worry about on Google Stadia. And that has me really excited. Now, let's talk about when Elder Scrolls Online is coming to Google Stadia. I mean, as of right now, we have no idea. Now, I'll be honest, I assumed that it was going to be a launch game, and it's not. And the reason I assumed it would be a launch game is because Bethesda was working so closely with Google on this, especially with Doom. I just assumed that Doom, because they were working so closely on Doom, that Elder Scrolls would be a launch game for Google Stadia, especially because it's a game that's already out. But it wasn't. And I'm fine with waiting for the game to be ready. But when is it going to come out? Well, we don't know. But I'm guessing it's going to be sometime after Update 25 goes out to all of the other platforms. It's a big patch, which changes fundamentally how the game runs. Not necessarily how the game plays, but how the game runs. This is no insider information here. I'm just guessing. But I think that they're waiting until they have this new base to build from before they bring it out on a new system. Because if they bring it to a new system and then they have to redo everything all over again, that creates a lot of extra work. So my guess is that Elder Scrolls Online will come out sometime first quarter in 2020. It is also possible that they will wait even longer until the Skyrim patch is out. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Skyrim is actually an Elder Scrolls game, and Elder Scrolls Online takes place in the same world, but it takes place in the past. And they are patching in Skyrim, not the actual Skyrim game that we've already played, but the place, the location of Skyrim. They're patching that into the game sometime later this year, and that's going to be like an expansion pack, basically. Perhaps they will wait until that expansion pack comes out, and they will launch the Skyrim expansion pack along with Elder Scrolls Online on Stadia, and then Skyrim on the other platforms as well. And I can't wait to play all over again on Google Stadia.